Hello, everybody. We are on the portion where the nature of samadhi is being explained by Bhagwan. And last time we had seen from verse 362 onwards, where he gives us an example of gold. Gold, essentially, in its basic nature, it is pure and lustrous. But when it is actually mined, there's all these impurities mixed with it. So it's put in fire to just remove the impurities, not to give it the luster. That is the point there. That the luster is not given by the fire. It was already there. Only by removing the impurities, the luster has now been, has become visible. Same way, this mind is basically sattvic because it has come from the sattvic aspects of the five elements, but it is now mixed with rajas and tamas. So rajas and tamas have to be reduced. And of course, in this verse, Bhagavan also says that even at a higher level, sattva also, it is not an impurity. It is not an impurity, please. But from sattva, you need to go to shuddha, you need to transcend sattva as well. And because it needs to be transcended, because Om in our chart or Brahman or Atman is beyond sattva, rajas, tamas. So, but coming up to the level of sattva is our self-effort. We have to put in self-effort to reduce rajas and tamas, to remove the impurities, and then come to sattva and then stay in that sattva. And then the grace will take you to shuddha sattva. So that's why here in this verse, he says that all sattva, rajas, tamas, amala means the mala of sattva, rajas, tamas, all three have to be removed. However, we have always maintained that sattva is purity, and it is. It is, but at a higher level, it needs to be transcended as well. And then this is to be done by nirantara abhyasa, nirantara without a break. So this practice of samadhi, I told you, this is for very evolved seekers. This is what Raman Maharshi did. After he left home at 16, he had a glimpse of the bliss. He just left home, and this is what he did, Nirantar Abhyas of Samadhi. He went behind the temple, and then he just was going into Samadhi and just staying there. But at our level, Samadhi would be to keep the mind where the hands are, to be in the present, to always be in the presence, not to have worries about the past, anxieties about the future. Those type of things at our level need to be practiced, because we cannot suddenly go into, we don't even know how to sit for 5 minutes quietly. So going into samadhi is a long term. So this is for the higher seekers. This is what is being told. Pakvam, I told you, Pakvam is a serene, Pakvam is ripe, but ripe mind here means one that is very mature, and a mature mind is a very purified mind. And because it is purified, it is very calm in all circumstances, whether they are joyful or sorrowful. Even in adverse circumstances, the mind of a realized master or a highly evolved seeker remains calm. Okay, and this samadhi savikalpa varjita. Then from savikalpa you will go to nirvikalpa, because savikalpa, up to savikalpa samadhi is our effort. After that, it is grace. So what we need to do is reach savikalpa samadhi, where the thought is there, I am Brahman, but that thought is maintained continuously without a break. And then you just stay there until only I am remains. Okay, this is what, and then that is the experience of bliss that you will have. What will it give you? What is in it for me? If we ask, and that is that infinite bliss which will never ever go away from you. And then he explained the three things that will happen in samadhi in the next verse, 364. All the vasanas will be destroyed. Vasanas here only meaning sanchita karma and agami karma. The prarabdha karma cannot be destroyed. It is extremely strong. That karma, those vasanas which have very well started, prakarshena arabdha, so very well started. When did they start? When we took birth. Those karmas can only be destroyed by experiencing. They can be exhausted by experiencing alone. They cannot be exhausted by knowledge. Knowledge is not powerful to destroy prarabdha karma. So that's why, and that prarabdha karma is only to the body. It is never to the soul. So once the realized master identifies with the soul, with Atma, with Brahman, things will go on happening to the body. It is not like, oh, I realize now nothing will happen. No, because the body has come with its own prarabdha. It is happening to us also. The difference is we think I am suffering. I don't say that my body has this illness. I say I have that illness. That is the difference. The realized master says, okay, my body has this illness. It has got nothing to do with me. Okay. And then the granthi, the hriday granthi, which are the knots of avidya, kama, and karma. So there is ignorance of the true self, because of which desires are arising in the mind, and those desires are now prompting actions. And those actions, what is wrong with this, you might ask? Like, okay, so what's the big deal? The big deal is that those actions are giving results. They will, because why? That is the law of karma, that a result will come when you do an action. Then that result has to be experienced, and to experience that result again, you have to take birth. That is the problem. So that's why this avidya, the cause, once it's destroyed, desires and the sprout cannot come. It is like the seed which is roasted. You know, the coffee beans, they're roasted. So they maintain their food value, but they do not maintain the value of sprouting. They will never sprout. If you plant those seeds, they will never sprout. This is like this granthi, this vasanas getting destroyed means they get roasted in the fire of knowledge. Knowledge is fiery. It's that's why light, fire, heat, they're all referring to knowledge. So this knowledge being so powerful, it will roast the vasanas. So what will happen is, the vasanas, whatever is result is to be given, it will be given, but there is no more vasanas being created out of those actions. Okay, this is what happens. And then antar bahihi sarvata. So all the doership, enjoyership is gone, and inside and outside oneness is experienced. All the karmas are sanchita and agami karmas getting destroyed. And then Bhagavan explained that in 365 that Shravanam is there, Mananam is there, and Nididhyasanam is there. But Mananam is greater in value than Shravanam, and Nididhyasanam is even of great value. And the reason is that in Shravanam, you have support of the teacher. You are listening to a teacher. So there is support. In Mananam, that support is removed. You are alone. You are by yourself. Of course, we do group discussion. So there is support of the group. But actual Mananam, actual reflection has to be done in solitude, in our own mind alone. We need to churn over whatever is being said and then come to our own conclusions. Then compare what is being said with our own experiences. And that way you will know the validity of what is being said. And once you compare it to your, oh, yes, I have experienced such a thing, it will never go away. It will never leave you. So you will know what the scriptures are saying is really true. It happens, that sort of thing. And of course, Nididhyasanam is the greatest, because it's contemplation on Atman, where there are a state where there are absolutely no doubts. Shravanam is to remove ignorance, Mananam is to remove doubts, and Nididhyasanam is to remove erroneous thinking. What is the erroneous thinking? I am body, mind, intellect. The world is real. That is all falling under erroneous thinking. That needs to be removed by correct thinking, and the correct thinking is Aham Brahmasmi. And that's why this Nididhyasana is to be done on Aham Brahmasmi. By the time you reach the stage of Nididhyasana, there should be absolutely no doubt. Because if you have a doubt, Guru said, I'm Brahman, really am I? Those type of doubts should all be removed in Mananam. Okay. Then by Nirvikalpa Samadhi alone, the true nature of Brahman is clearly and definitely manifest. We are reading theory, but this is being written by a master who has realized himself. So if he says this, it is absolutely true. I told you at our level, Vivekachudamani also is Shruti. The real definition of Shruti is Vedas only. Okay, that is only Vedas, that which has been heard by the masters. But for us, if Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written it, then it is Shruti only for us. So this is what, and he says, other than Nirvikalpa Samadhi, there is no other way to attain this to attain to Brahman. Okay, that is the only way. Means knowledge is the only way. All right. So we were on verse 367. Am I correct? Yeah. So we'll chant that one now. Atha samadhastvayatendriya sannirantaram shantamana pratichi vidmausayadvantamanadya vidyaya kritam sadekatva vilokanena. Ataha is therefore. So therefore indicating a conclusion. No statement starts with therefore. There will be something previously said. It is raining, therefore I took an umbrella. Suddenly nobody would say, oh, therefore I took an umbrella. Therefore you took an umbrella. Something has to be there before. So when this word ataha or tasmat comes, know that all what is being said, this is now told to us, therefore, with a serene mind and the senses controlled. The importance of controlling the senses can never be underestimated. Let me put it that way. It is extremely important that the senses be under our control. That's why on the Bhagavad Gita, the chariot metaphor, the reins are in the hands of the intellect. See, Bhagwan Sri Krishna, the charioteer, represents the intellect and the reins are the mind. And they are always, if he lets go of that mind, the senses, the horses will go in every direction. That's what will happen to us. In chapter 3 also I told you, Bhagwan says it will be like a boat which is not anchored and it's being taken helter-skelter by the winds. That will be our condition. And the senses controlled. Ever drown the mind in the subjective supreme self, and by realizing your identity with that reality, destroy the darkness created by the beginningless nascence, avidya. Now here, ever drown the mind in the subjective supreme self at our, see, this is, I told you, this is for extremely highly evolved seekers. So a person, like an Upanishadic student, he would have the time to just sit quietly. Food is being provided. There is no impending war. There is the quietude of the forest, and he can sit there and drown his mind in reality. When it comes to us, or when it comes to Arjun, did Bhagwan tell him, sit and drown you? He wanted to do that. Arjun said, I will go and I will meditate in the forest, and Bhagwan didn't allow him. Right? So we are at the level of Arjun. So for us, the mind in the subjective supreme self at our level means, it has to be interpreted as, keep the mind where your hands are. Be in the present, be in the presence. Okay? So that, because self is a presence in the present. The past is dead and gone, and the future is yet to come. Nobody knows whether it will come. So what is in our hands is only the present moment. So if we can keep our mind focused on what we are doing at every single moment in our day, in our life, it will be equivalent to ever drown the mind in the subjective supreme self. Okay, that needs to be understood. And then realizing, and that when you keep like we've got the example of that wasp, the pupa keeps thinking of the wasp, there is a saying also, as you think, so shall you become. So if you keep thinking on that you are Brahman, you're Brahman, you're Brahman, by keeping your mind in the present, you will one day become. And that day could be many births away, but someday it will come. So we start now that we have a chance. And vidmosaya dhvanta manad avidyaha, this nascence, avidya, which is beginningless. Avidya is Maya. Why is it beginningless? Maya is the power of the Lord. Because the Lord is beginningless, avidya also is beginningless. But it does have an end. That is the hope. Okay? With Brahman is beginningless and endless. With avidya is beginningless, has an end, and that is the difference. So when we merge ourselves into the supreme reality, there will be this avidya will go away. Yogasya prathamadvaram vang nirodho parigraha nirasha cha niriha cha nityamekanta shilata. The first gateway of yoga, this is yoga, the samadhi yoga. Okay, yoga, yuj, coming from the root yuj, to join. So the first step in joining with the Supreme Self is control of speech, non-acceptance of possessions, non-entertainment of expectations, freedom from activity, and living always in a retired mood. Okay, so control of speech, speech representing all the organs of action, because speech, tongue is organ of action also, right? So control of the speech just doesn't mean keeping quiet. See, a person may keep quiet and in the mind, the thoughts are racing, that is not what is meant here. All the organs of action to be kept under control. When will they come under control? When the desires in the mind are under control. Because there are so many desires gurgling in the mind, they are prompting the organs of action to act. So that is the first step, is that control your actions, meaning control your desires, meaning purify your mind. That's how it goes. Suddenly control your, we saw in chapter 3 again, the one who controls his organs of action, but his senses are, his mind is running, there is a hypocrite, mithyachari. So that's not what's meant here. So Vang Nirodha, then Aparigraha. This is one of the, Aparigraha is one of the instructions from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. So hoarding, Parigraha is hoarding, you hoard more and more things. So that should not be done. Because then what happens is when you hoard, then you're worried about it, that you might lose it. You're worried about protecting your possessions. And then the mind is again going into into the possessions. That's why you see when Swamijis and all, there is no possessions. They don't have to worry about bank accounts. They don't have to worry about mutual funds going up and down. They get these 4 sets of clothes every year and food is provided. So there is all that worry is taken away. So even if we can do that to a certain extent, then there is no, that's why I told you in the ashram, we only white saris, only 6 saris I had, 2 years, whole 2 years, just 6. Rotate, wash, rotate, wash, rotate, nothing. So there was no open up, oh, what should I wear now? Today, which color should I wear? There was no mental tension. It's just that, okay, I vote, so now next, that's it. And everybody was wearing, so it's not like, oh, she's wearing a better sari than me, oh, she's wearing this, nothing, everybody's in white. So that is the reason, that is what it is, So when you have more things, more choices, the mind is more agitated.
Jayaji, where does this, does it talk about responsibility, like freedom from responsibilities?
Are you asking me whether it talks about, or?
Yes. Does it talk about it?
No. Freedom from responsibility. Like, are you just saying because controls the organs of action? Is that why you're asking?
Yes, organs of action and also thoughts and things you're supposed to do, right? I mean, some of them goes into possessions also.
Yeah. See, I told you, this portion is for evolved seekers. So for householders, control of action would be karma yoga. Karma yoga. Aparigraha, hoarding, it's even for householders, that should be an instruction. The more you accumulate things, the more worry you're going to have. If you want freedom from worrying, the less possessions you have, there'll be more freedom. The mind, what is being advised here is that the mind should be freed from all kinds of worries. Because when you have worries for your material possessions, you cannot think about God. See, already the mind is worried about something. It's like this for householders. See, if your child is sick, then you cannot concentrate on your work at office. Can you? Because your attention is over there, right? So the lesser possessions, if you're worried about your possessions, you will get worried about your possessions. If you have too many things, you will be worried. And then those possessions, you don't even know it is there. That's why aparigraha in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras also, for yoga means for joining with the higher, these possessions has to be given up as much as possible. For householders, whatever you need, please keep. Again, please understand the difference between need and greed. Whatever you need, clothes wise, food wise, shelter wise, job wise, whatever the need is, that, and especially for householders, this is for spiritual, this one is a thing for spiritual seekers and instruction. If you are interested in the higher, it's like I've always given it. If you want the gold medal, there are so many things that you're going to have to detach from. That's why if you want this highest bliss, then we can try. So for Vang Nirodha, for at our stage, Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga has to be done 24/7. Every action must be converted into Karma Yoga. When you convert that, this aparigraha will come. Now, nirasha, without hope, is false hope. Understand nirasha, like, because you see, unless I have a hope of some result, will I act? I won't. But when I have false hope, like, what is a false hope? If I expect sweetness from salt, salt is white, sugar is white. Salt has to be sweet. That asha should not be there. Now, in our case, what is our hope? What are we hoping? What are we thinking? Happiness is in the world. Are we not? Happiness, if I get promoted, I'll be happy. If I move, if I'm near my children, I'll be happy. If I get a bigger job, bigger house, bigger car, I will be happy. That is false hope. Because the happiness is not in the world. Happiness is not in there. That's why when it said nirasha, give up all thoughts of the enjoyments of the fruits of our, this is Gurudev has written, in a future period of time have to be given up. Future period, that future period of time may not come. May not come. I'll give you an example. Vancouver, there was a couple, there, she's there, he's not there. And there was a yajna going on, and I was waiting for Swamiji to arrive. Way back this is, then this lady came and she was walking towards the hall, and then she said to me, she said, I'm really glad that you're doing all this at a very young age. I mean, not that I was very young, but yeah, much younger than her. And she said to me that I thought that after we, both my husband and I, retire, he was a dentist, she was a GP. After we retire, I'm going to travel the world. After we retire, a future. Now what happened was, 1 year before retirement, he got Parkinson's. Within 1 week, he had to close his practice. So there was no retirement. He had not reached retirement age, but he got Parkinson's. How can he do dentistry? And she got extreme arthritis. So she closed her practice before retirement. That is false hope. That after retirement, I will travel. You want to travel? Do it now. That is false hope. That's what happened. And she said, this is what I did. Now I don't even have the guts to take him anywhere because he's got Parkinson's. There's no way that I can travel. And I'm in so much pain. And that is false hope. So when we keep hope of happiness from the world, it is a false hope. That is what should not be done. This nirasha word comes in Bhagavad Gita also. Bhagavad Gita also, it will come in later chapters. So the question arises, what do you mean? Of course, I hope to have a nice meal. That's why I'm cooking. Why would I cook otherwise even? That is correct hope. I want to appease my hunger, and that's why I'm cooking some food to appease my hunger. That is okay. That is not what is meant here. This is what is meant. That I will do. My own husband, he said, after retirement, I will come to Vedanta. He didn't retire. He was working when he passed. It was a full-time job he was doing. When I retire, I used to say, how do I know I will retire? What if I die before retirement? That's what I used to say. I said, no, I want to do all this right now. I don't know. I don't know. So if you think that, oh, when I retire, I will do this, What is the guarantee that you're going to retire? That is falsehood. That is falsehood. Because there's something in the future. Future can never be predicted. Whatever you want to do it now. Now is in your hands. Present moment. Do it now. That is nirasha. Iha is icha. Niriha means no icha. No icha means desire. Again, desire whatever is needed. Yes, you have that desire, and yes, you must fulfill it. But when you have desires which are driven by ego and egocentric desires, those should be avoided. That ego needs to be surrendered. Therefore, karma yoga comes into play. So when that ego is there and it's telling you to do something for yourself, but if the desire is for the totality, for the good, I want to do something good, I want to donate, I want to do charity, I want to, help somebody, that is a correct desire, and try to do it. You may not be able to do it. Even to help others, you need destiny. Destiny has to, you may think, I will help somebody else, I will do this, I will do that. You think. That is again in the future. Whatever you can do, you do. This is what nirya is. And nityam ekanta shilata. Aloneness, here I've underlined this. Aloneness is different from loneliness. So here nitya ekanta is being alone, not lonely. Loneliness, you will feel like you'll feel something in the pit of your stomach. Just this morning I was talking to a friend of mine, and she has a friend. With a big family, that lady, from her husband's side, she has like the husband's sisters and the husband's brothers and brother's wife and all that. And when her husband was alive, all the sisters for the brother, they did like everything, cook food, do shopping, everything. Now the husband passed, and not a single person is phoning her. Her sisters-in-law, her brother-in-law's wife, co-sister. And she was telling my friend, I'm very lonely, she said. I'm lonely. They used to come so often. They used to do so much. But now that my husband is gone, nobody is phoning. This is just this morning, this has happened. Huh? And she said, I'm lonely. Then my friend is a bit into Brahma Kumari. So she said, you're not alone. God is with you. See, when you don't have that support, that faith that God is with me, I am never alone, then you feel lonely. At least her children are good. Her daughter comes to her every day, and her son lives in Calgary. But this is what happens. So aloneness is different from loneliness. So that's why we have Kaivalya Upanishad, Kevala. Brahman is Kevala, alone. So from there comes Kaivalya. So to be alone and not lonely is a blessing. But if you feel lonely, then you have actually denied the presence of God. Because God is with you all the time. God is with us all the time. Now you're feeling lonely. That means God is not there. You have denied God in that. So as spiritual seekers, we must never feel lonely. And we should be able to be alone. Alone is, even in a party with huge crowds, you can be alone. Or in a whole bunch of people, you can be still lonely in that. Or you can stay alone at home and you will never be lonely. You shouldn't, as spiritual seekers, we shouldn't be feeling lonely. We live alone. I live alone. I never feel lonely because I have that faith, that confidence. Somebody is with me. God is with me, not somebody else, but God. So what he's saying is, this is the prathama, the first gate. These are the gateways. So the first gateway is Vachik tapa. This it's a tapas. So I have a little note here. Vachik tapa is Manusmriti says, talk only when you are asked, talk only when it is necessary, talk only which is for the good of everybody. If it is not necessary to tell somebody how ugly they look, don't tell them. Don't tell. You're not being asked, so don't tell them your sari looks horrible or something. Don't tell. All this falls under Vachik tapa. Okay, that's one meaning. And then one meaning is also the organs of action to be controlled. But when your desires are less, your organs of action will automatically be controlled. That's automatic, no? Because action will happen only when there is desire. So when the desires are controlled, actions will be automatically controlled. This being alone is very important. That's what happens, because when people, and when this is what I've noticed. So when your world revolves around one person, one entity, that is very dangerous. So say your world revolves around your job, or your world revolves around your children, or your world revolves around your husband. And sometimes what happens is, first it is the children, then the children grow up, and if the husband is there, then your world is revolving under the husband. This has happened to my cousin in London. Her world revolved only around her. She has kids, but they're grown up and all that. And in COVID, her husband passed, right? For the last 2 years since her husband passed, she's unable to go into her own house. She's staying with her son in London. London, educated girl, Bombay educated, modern, all that, but no spiritual background. She's saying, I'm afraid to go in my house. Because she says, I don't know what to do. Because everything was revolving around her husband. What does he want breakfast? What does he want lunch? Where does he want to go? She had no other life. She had no other life. So keep your options open. Yes, every entity in our life is a part, is a piece of the puzzle. It is not your whole life. That has to be understood, because everything in this world is finite and it can go at any moment. So if you concentrate only on one thing, when that is taken away, it's very difficult. 2 years, he passed in 2019 December. No, 2020 December, I'm sorry. 2020 March, COVID came. He was in London. He was supposed to go for his first vaccination on Sunday. He was tested positive on Thursday, admitted for 12 days. He passed December 26th. Since that time, she's to this day, she's living. And then she wanted me to come to London. She goes, you come, and then we both will go and stay in my house. I said, you need to face your fear. I will come. You want me to come? I'll come. That is not an issue. But you need to face the fear. I said, go stay there. Go volunteer somewhere. Go. She goes, she has got no life. Absolutely nothing. Never make one entity your whole life. Very, very dangerous position you put yourself in then. Okay. So this yoga that he's talking about is Samadhi yoga. Huh? So to reach the highest, this is where these are the practices that you would do. Now, एकान्तस्थितिरिन्द्रियो परमणे हेतुर्दमश्चेतसः संरोधे करणं शमेन विलयं यायादहं वासना तेनानन्दरसानुभूतिरचला ब्राह्मी सदा योगिनः तस्माच्चित् निरोध एव सततं कार्य प्रयत्नान् मुनेः. Living in solitude helps to control the sense organs. Control of the senses serves to control the mind, and by controlling the mind, the ego is destroyed. This gives the yogin an absolute realization of the bliss of Brahman. Hence, the man of reflection should always strive to quieten his mind alone. Once again, the importance of quietening the senses. So, Satatam Karya Pratnan Munehe. Munehe, Muni, you can say man of wisdom, but here you can take it as a man of reflection. Gurudev, yeah, that's just better. Man of reflection, not man of realization, because a man of realization has already controlled his senses, so he doesn't have to worry about it. But a man of reflection, Munehe, one who thinks, is the one who is now thought that this is what I want. I want that bliss of Brahman. Then what he needs to do is ekanta. Again, I told you, it is aloneness, not loneliness. Okay. In aloneness, there is a full, like inside you feel full, like as if your stomach is full, that way. In lonely, you will feel that emptiness in the pit of your stomach. If anybody, I have experienced it. I have experienced loneliness and I know what aloneness is. That's why I can tell you the difference. If you feel that, nobody's calling me, I need TV, I need something, I need some sound, I need some noise, something in the house, you're constantly blasting the radio or the TV or whatever, you're looking for company. And that's again false hopes. That is what is going to remove my solid loneliness is wrong. It's an inert. TV is an inert object. Radio is an inert. How can an inert object remove your loneliness? It can't. That's false hope. So when you are in solitude, when you're alone, it helps to control the senses, because there are no outside distractions. Aparigraha also helps you to control the senses, because when you have so many things, then you know how to arrange this, what to arrange, this, all that is not there. And then control of the senses. Hetuhu damas chetasaha. Dama and shama, we have seen, very, very important qualities. Is shama, control of the mind, dama, control of the senses. Control of the senses means not allowing the senses to go out. Control of the mind means not allowing any object to come inside. Or no, the other way. Control of the senses means not allowing any object to come inside, and control of the mind means not allowing the mind to run out through the senses. So both that has to reduce, has to stop. And in that control of the mind, look how important it is. That is what the ego is destroyed. That is because what happens is then when you control the mind from going outside, it'll start looking inside, within. There are only two things. There is one outside, there is one inside. Now your mind, you have prohibited it from going outside. Now where will it look? It has to look somewhere. It'll look within itself. And when it looks at itself, that means it is facing the ego. And when you face the ego, that ego disappears. This comes in Updesh Sar. Bhagavan has said that is what is meant by who is the one that is angry. If I get angry, if I get happy, if I get sad, if I get depressed, what Bhagavan Raman Maharshi advises, he says, ask who is the one that is getting depressed? Who is the one that is angry? What we do, I get angry and I'm angry, and now I'm going to go outside and do something about that anger. Instead of that, he says, who is the one that is angry? That means you're facing inside now. When you question yourself, who is the one that is angry? Who is the one that is happy? Who is the one that is sad? What you're doing is you're questioning the ego. In that questioning itself, Bhagavan says that ego will disappear. This is what this is. In solitude, when your sense organs are under control, when the mind is not running out, it'll start looking inside. That's the whole idea. The mind has to be made introverted. Once it is made introverted, it'll start questioning the ego. Who are you? I'm hurt. Who is this I? And in that questioning, that I will disappear. And what will remain is the big I. The small I will disappear and the big I will remain. Because the only thing that is there is the big I, Brahman. Ego is, and then this gives the yogin an absolute realization. That's it. The ego is the only thing that is standing between us and Brahman. So once the ego is destroyed, what remains is only the bliss. There is nothing else. This is what this is saying. Okay. That's why practicing to live in solitude is very important. That's why when we studied in the ashram, each one of us had our own room. There was no sharing of rooms. Because if you share with somebody, then you're talking, and then, all the samsar begins, and then how are you, how are this, all these things begin. So everybody was in their own room. No outside contact. You stay there, you reflect on what is being taught, etc., etc. Next verse, it's without a meter. Vacham niyata atmanitam niyacha buddhau dhyam yacha cha buddhi sakshini tam cha api purna atmani nirvikalpe vilapya shanti paramam bhajasva. Restrain speech in the mind. This is from Kathopanishad and Bhagavad Gita. Restrain speech in the mind and restrain the mind in the intellect. And this again, restrain in the witness of the intellect and merging that too in the infinite absolute self, gain supreme peace. Now, restrain speech in the mind means what? What does it mean, restrain? You know, the speech is not something physical that you'll tie it with a rope and then restrain it. It's not like that. What is meant by restraints in Kathopanishad, the Upanishad uses a different, they say, put the speech in the mind and the mind in the intellect. So put means what? Shift attention. What it means, restrain the speech in the mind means shift your attention, and speech includes all sense organs. So shift your attention from the sense organs to the mind. Now, what does that mean? Shift attention from this thing. See, the sense organs, they are meant for perception. When I perceive with the eyes and ears, it's the same thing. What do I see is only differences. Think about it. Now, see, I'm looking at, I know all of you are different. Some of them have their videos off. Some of them have the background of each person is different. See, my eyes are seeing all. What are my eyes seeing constantly? What is my perception with the sense organs is differences. Now, when it is said, restrain the speech meaning sense organs, in the mind means shift attention from sense organs to the mind, means the sense organs are only seeing differences, but your mind must understand that behind everything that the eyes are seeing, there is only one principle of existence. If you can understand that, you have restrained the senses in the mind. This is what this means. Okay, what I see, that's why in Subodh Vedanta also Swami Vishwananji said that the realized master perceives one thing, but his understanding is completely different, which means that his sense organs are controlled by the mind because his attention is on the mind. So he is perceiving differences, but his mind says it is only the existence principle which is supporting all these differences. So now you've gone to the level of the mind. This is a part of meditation. So from the seeing the differences, you're seeing the oneness of existence, which is supporting the thing. Okay. Now from there, you restrain the mind by the intellect. So now, who is the one that is seeing the differences as well as understanding that only existence is supporting? Who is that one? The ego is in the intellect. Ego is reflection of consciousness happening in the intellect. So when you start questioning who is the one that is seeing the differences and who actually knows that there is only one thing, there is only existence, you have reached the level of the ego. Because actually, when I say I see, who is that I? It is not Brahman, it is ego. It is ego. This is what it means. Vacham niyata, restrain speech and mind and restrain the mind in the intellect. So sense organs, speech or hearing or smelling, all these different differences that are being seen, shift your attention into the mind saying, I see the differences, but there is an underlying substratum of existence, which is one and the same in all of them. Now, next step. Okay. Yeah, I said that there is one. Who is that one that is saying that there is only oneness? So you have reached in the intellect. Now, and this again, restrain in the witness of the intellect. So now what you think is, okay, ego is the one that is understanding that it is all existence, but am I the ego, or do I not know that my ego is seeing all these things? So I become then the witness, Sakshi. Sakshi witness is there when there is something to be witnessed. So as long as there are differences outside that are being witnessed, then what is being witnessed is the thought that, oh, the differences are there, but there is an underlying substratum which is only one, that also is being witnessed. Who is witnessing? Ego is witnessing, and I am witnessing the ego. So I am actually that witness. ultimate, final. If you reach the level of Sakshi, this is what we studied in chapter 13 also, Upadrashta, you reach the level, from Bhokta, you reach to Upadrashta. Chapter 13, we have seen this verse, that right now I think that I am the enjoyer. From there you go to Bharta. Bharta is, I am not the one that is the enjoyer. I am the one that is supporting the body, because the ego, the subtle body, is holding the gross body together. So that is what I am, Bharta. And from there you go to the permitter, Anumanta. It is because of me that everything is happening. And then from there you go to Upadrashta, Sakshi. That is where we have to remain. We have to remain at the level of witness. And that is what is meant by you remain unaffected by whatever is happening outside of you and whatever is happening within you. Because within me also thoughts are gurgling. There are disturbing thoughts, there are lusty thoughts, there are bad thoughts, there are good thoughts, there are egoistic thoughts. I'm so good, I'm so this, I do so much, I do this. All of this, you are not the thought, you are the witness. And that is what is meant by this. Merging, shifting is shifting attention. Shifting attention is to know. If you know that everything is one, then you're at the level of the mind. Then you question who is the one that is knowing that, and then you become the Sakshi, the witness. Okay? And merging that too in the infinite absolute self gains supreme peace. So Sakshi, merging Sakshi into absolute self means what? Means recognizing that whatever is being witnessed in it is an illusion. There is actually nothing but me. It is me. It is every person that I'm seeing on this screen is my reflection alone. It's not a different person. That is how you go there. This is the way to Samadhi, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So you start at the senses, mind, intellect, Sakshi, and then merge the Sakshi into the absolute self. Because Sakshi, you will say, witness, when there is something to be witnessed. The minute you recognize that thing that is being witnessed to be an illusion, you have reached the level of Brahman. It is very easily told, not very easily done. Let me tell you. Okay? All right. Deha prana indriya mano buddhyadi bihi upadi bihi yai vartehe yai vrittehe samayogah tat bhava asya yoginaha. The body, pranas, sense organs, mind, intellect, etc., with whichever of these conditionings the mind gets associated, the yogin also gets transformed as it were into that. So this is very simple. Getting converted into the body means what? Means saying, I am sick. I am tall. I am tall when I say, or I am short, or I am fat, or I am this thing. I have become the body. Am I the body? No. So the correct thing should be, my body is short. My body is tall. But do I say that? I don't say that. I said, and not only that I'm short, I'm unhappy about it too. I want to become tall in my next life. Too much tall, that person says, I want to be a little bit shorter. I can't find my shoe size. Everybody's unhappy with it. But it is not you. This is what this is meant. Whatever pranas, when I say I'm hungry, I am hungry, I've identified with the pranas. Sense organs, I like this, I don't like this, because the sense organs are perceiving, and every time I'm passing judgment. Mind, I'm happy, I'm sad, I am sad. That is what is important. When I say I am happy, I am sad, understand that you can never be sad or happy because you're that objectless awareness. Mind, yes, mind will become sad. So it's my mind is unhappy today. My mind is disturbed today. My mind is, that's why Gurudev had given us, instead of I am angry, I must say anger is arising within me and I am a witness of that anger. Now what should I do with that anger? Now you decide what you want to do with that anger. You want to tell somebody, you want to do whatever, you want to neutralize it. It's up to you. But when I say I am angry, then I get carried away by the force of that anger. And I will do something which I will probably regret later. So instead of that, you say, anger is arising within me, which means what? There is anger on that side and I am on this side. So which means what? You have become a witness of that anger, of that thought. Remain as a witness of all thoughts. Remain also as a witness of everything that is happening around you. And witness means not getting involved with whatever is happening outside and whatever is happening within. Not getting involved means not passing judgment. So if you are required to act upon something, act, but no judgments. If you're asked to help and you can help, go help. Witness mean, it doesn't mean, okay, my neighbor is asking me for help, but you know what? I'm a witness, so I'm not going to do anything. That is not the meaning. Okay, mind, intellect. I'm very intelligent. I have got so many degrees. This is what I can do. With whichever of these conditionings the mind gets associated, identified, means identified. The yogin becomes that. So, like I told you, when I say I'm tall, thin, I am fat, thin, I am hungry, I'm thirsty, pranas, I am happy, sad, mind, I am dull, intelligent, identification with the intellect. So I become that. This is what it's saying. Tannivritya mune samyak sarvo paramanam sukham sandrishyate sadananda rasanubhava viplavaha. When this is completely removed, and I'll tell you what this is referring to, a man of reflection is found to detach easily from everything and to get into the riotous revelry of the essence of bliss. When this is completely removed, this is referring to the previous verse, the identification with body, mind, intellect, pranas. That is what is being referred to. So when you reduce your identification with the body, when you reduce your identification with the mind, reduce your identification with the intellect, keep reducing it, then a man of reflection. So this is a person who is thinking, am I the body? Can I be this inert body? This body, that's why in the beginning only Bhagavan condemned the body. It's just nothing but filth, and it's nothing but filth actually. Actually, the body is inert and it's full of filth. Now I'm thinking I'm the body. Now what to do? I'm filth. That means what am I actually saying? I'm fecal matter. I am urine. I am blood. If they say, then people will get angry. But that is what exactly what they're referring when they say I am the body, right? So, and get into a revelry of essence of bliss. So when you disidentify with all the conditionings, what it is, I've told you, it is not like an onion where you peel and nothing remains. It is like the munja grass where you peel the conditionings and what remains in between is the sweet stalk. Or a banana you peel and there is a sweet banana inside waiting. So when you peel this and peeling is not physically removing, you cannot remove physically, your identification with them, your erroneous thinking that I am this body, your own erroneous thinking, when you remove, it is only a shift in vision. I told you, Vedanta is only a shift in vision. There is nothing external. Inside, understand that you are not the body, mind, intellect. Okay, so we have completed this section. There's are there any questions? Because there's a couple announcements that I have to make.
Jayaji, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
You were saying that to try and de-link yourself from or see everyone as a reflection of yourself, when people, when others or you see things being done that you would not do, how would you proceed further from there and try to see them as a reflection of you?
Okay, so what you have to understand is that the upadhi is defective. Like you go into your own house or somebody else's house, and in one room the light is very bright, and then you go into another room and the light is not very bright.
Ah, okay. So the tool is defective.
Yeah, the upadhi is defective. Is there anything wrong with the electricity?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So right away you know, oh, this bulb is 100 watt and this bulb is 40 watt.
Okay.
So when the person is doing wrong, I personally, what I do is when I see something like that, I say, you know what, that is something that I should not do. I should see, if I don't like something that somebody else is doing, I should not be doing it.
So when you say I should not be doing it, you're saying you are the other person that's doing
No,
it?
no, not that I am the other person. That is how I deal with it. What your question is, you should understand that it is the person's mind that is doing it, but the essence is the same. There is no difference between
Them
the
and you.
essence in her and the essence in me. Yeah.
Okay. 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 Thank you.
Yes. Leelaji, did you have a question? Did you have a question or anybody else? Mohini, you have a question? You have unmuted yourself. That's why I'm asking.
I have a question, but I'm a little confused. But when we say, just like Kalpana said, that other person, yes, we do sometimes think that that person, like I think that person is in the wrong mood or wrong time or something. So it helps.
Yes.
But when somebody does constantly this, at that time you think that something is wrong with that person, just like you said, the light is the, but how to deal with that person when you really want to help other person?
Okay, one thing you have to understand that you cannot help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. See, you cannot help that person has to be wanting to receive that help. If that person does not want to receive the help, you can keep giving, that person is not going to accept. So you surrender to God, because who wants in you, who wants to help is your ego.
Okay, but if you keep insisting same way, that one is reflection of me, and that one is same God who's in me and there.
Yeah.
So why should not I keep persistently helping, and someday may that person will get better or realize?
Yeah. But when you say you're the same, it is the essence is the same. So if the essence is the same, who is helping who? It's one
Even
only,
external, even external things, even external, you have
it is your
as
ego.
a human being.
If that person is willing to accept your help, please go ahead and help. If that person is not willing to help and you're pushing your help on it, it is your ego, it is your vasanas that are doing it. That's an indication of a very strong ego. That your own ego, once it's toned down, you will understand. You cannot change the world. You cannot change anybody else. You have to change yourself. So work on your own ego. It is your strong ego that is pushing you to, I want to improve him. Who are you to improve him? There is God now. Leave him to God. Who am I to improve anybody else? I can't.
But isn't that what we in India do most of the time? We leave the
What
person.
I've told you many times, what we do in India and what anybody else know, this is only for self-analysis and self-improvement. Let other people do whatever that they want to do.
Okay, let's leave that for a minute aside. But what I see that this type of education, knowledge, thinking has led our society to be indifferent overall to other persons. Because I have seen, Jayaji, I have seen a lot of people, they really, really neglect, ignore. Maybe it is destiny of that person, as you say, maybe it is that, but at the same time, if collectively we take action to do something good, like provide some food, some protection, something to that person, and then leave it. But something we have to do to start with.
The entity that is telling you that something we have to do is the ego. So you do.
Whether it is ego or not, but at the same time, it is a helpful thing to do to the person, to the society, because I see that we are indifferent, whereas here we take by here in Western society, I'm not saying it is good, better or something, but they do take a person some action for the person.
Yeah. All you're talking about is what to do for the other person. What are you doing for yourself? We are doing self-analysis.
But that person has a divine in her or him.
Yeah, then that person will realize himself.
So if that person has a divine, as a divine, service to the divine, I should do something.
That is what you see. If that person is divine and you are divine, then there is no difference in the divinity. Then there is no difference between you and that person. Now, when you bring your I in there, yeah, divinity, there is no difference.
Okay,
Brahman substratum is the same. Now you brought the I in. I should do something. That I is the ego.
So now with that spirit that we are equal inside, so, you know. So
we are not equal. We are same. There is a difference. Equal and same is different. We are same.
Okay, we are same. So let me keep doing that, because that way I get satisfaction.
Okay, then you do. Who is the one that is getting satisfaction?
My ego, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps my ego. But even that thing has some thing. If I am doing it with the thing that is for, you know.
Yeah, do. That's why I'm telling do. It is only going to strengthen the ego, but you do. You do.
Yeah,
as long as you feel you want to do, you should.
If I say after doing that my ego is boosted and I did this and I did that and tell the whole world and make record of that, I understand that's pumping up your ego. I can understand. But at the same time, after doing something, if I surrender to whatever result comes, forget it. So that is the thing I wanted to say, but I couldn't say in right way.
That's what I'm saying. If you do and that person doesn't get help, then what can you do?
Yeah, we can't do even about ourselves.
Exactly. No, we can do about ourselves.
Yeah, we can't do about ourselves. We can't do about our children. We can't do about our
children. We can't, but us we can.
We can try.
Otherwise, there is no meaning of Purushartha. Na?
But we can try.
We can try and we can
try, but we cannot reach unless we have.
You see, addicts, drug addicts have come out of drug addiction. Alcohol addictions have come out, right? So we can work on ourselves. We can. Otherwise, there is no meaning of Purushartha that is given in the Vedas. When Bhagwan says, try to control your senses, it means that we can. Otherwise, Bhagwan would not have told us that. That has to be understood. Children, no. Husband, wife, no. Anybody else, no. But me, myself, yes, I can. That's why people lose weight. Obese people lose weight. They've worked on themselves. People become at 90 to 82. One of my friends has run the marathon. She's 82 years old. How? She worked on herself. So that is possible. You can never say that we cannot do for ourselves. We can try and we can do also. If you try hard enough, you will succeed. Okay.
Thank you.